Are we streaming live? I don't know. Hello, scholars. Thank you for coming. If you can hear me, can you put a 1 in the chat? If you can hear me, can you please put a 1 in the chat? You can't hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Am I not? If you can hear me, can you please put a 1 in the chat? Thank you so much, Lily Bell. How are you? If you can see the image on the screen, can you put a 1 in the chat, or can you just let me know? Okay, thanks so much. Let's see. So today, I wanted to begin the stream with where are my things? With a mindfulness exercise. So that's how I like to begin. It's super quiet in here today, right now. And so I guess that means I'll get to know you guys. Perfect. Let me see where it is. I'm getting my notes out. All right, take a breath, April. That's the point. So go back here. All right. Almost there. Where are we? I'm looking for the meditation. I had it here. Anyway, I can just do my own mindfulness exercise. So today, as we begin the podcast, I wanted to begin with a mindfulness exercise. And so what I'm going to ask you to do is just, if you can, take a deep breath in and hold 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Another deep breath in and hold 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. And for the last time, we're going to take a really deep cleansing breath in. We're going to hold. We're going to exhale. And when we do that, we're going to exhale all of the bad things. We're going to inhale good things, good feelings, good thoughts. So inhale 2, 3, 4. All good things. Hold 2, 3, 4. Exhale all the bad things, the impurities, the bad thoughts, and yeah. So how are you guys today? I've got a pretty cool schedule, and I guess I'll just get to it. So first I wanted to say hello, scholars, and welcome to the Sussex Studio Experience, your positive space for all things Megan. I'm your host, Professor Zinzi, and today we're going to be diving into Megan's recent trip to Nigeria and how it allowed her to connect with her cultural identity alongside Harry's work with the Invictus Games project. But before we delve in, let's center ourselves with a quote from Maya Angelou. And still I rise. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. ... And still I rise. So Megan is a name that's been plastered across the headlines, dissected in tabloids, and endlessly debated in the media. Yet amidst the noise, Megan continues to rise, embracing her identity, her purpose, and her power. In this recent trip to Nigeria, She did a lot of work, and that serves as a poignant reminder of her resilience. In Nigeria, Megan found herself immersed in a vibrant tapestry of culture, history, and community, from engaging with local artisans to participating in traditional ceremonies. Megan didn't just visit Nigeria, she experienced it. And in doing so, she tapped into a part of herself that had long been overshadowed by the relentless scrutiny of the media. But Megan's journey wasn't just about reconnecting with her roots. It was also a platform for Harry to shine a light on his Invictus Games project. Founded on the principle of empowering wounded, injured, and sick service personnel through the power of sport, the Invictus Games embodies resilience, determination, and unity. However, amid the celebration of Megan and Harry's endeavors, there's always this lingering negative perpetuated by the media. You don't belong here. You are not one of us. It's a familiar refrain echoing the sentiments of exclusion and otherness that have plagued Megan throughout this journey and experience with the royal family. But Megan, much like other marginalized people she champions, refuses to be defined by someone else's narrative. Megan lives her life in a way that says you don't get to determine how we show up in the world. So does anybody have anything to say about that? Have you ever felt like you were in a space where you weren't welcome, where people told you that you didn't belong in this space, and you showed up anyway, or you felt small and you just felt like you needed to leave or you needed to shrink yourself? Anybody? Any comments? I know I've been in spaces where I felt like I didn't belong and that it was apparent, right? And so when I was younger, I used different ways. Sometimes I would shrink and sometimes I would speak up for myself. And it can be really challenging. It can wear on your spirit when these kinds of things happen. Yeah, she was never, that's how I felt too, Lily Bell. Like when she showed up in the UK media, it was clear that they did not want her. It was, to me, clear that they felt like Harry belonged to them. She's an outsider. And even the article showing up talking about her exotic blood, right? Do you remember a lot of those articles, Lily Bell, that were out there about Meghan showing up and, you know, Harry's girl straight out of Compton, right? And so then the media tried to use tricks to tell us, no, that's not exactly what's happening. You guys are wrong. Don't believe your lying eyes. Believe what we're saying to you. And I think the squad, we didn't go for that. Clearly we didn't go for that. And that's why we're here, right? So when she showed up, they used every trick that they could, including getting her father to go along with the UK tabloids and to take bribes and to, remember when he showed up in that tailor shop in Mexico, pretending as if he was going to go to the wedding, and then all of a sudden the plot thickened, and not only did he not go to the wedding, he actually stopped taking her calls. And then there was this heart attack thing that happened, right? Meghan's father is really sick. Thomas Markle has experienced a heart attack. And so Meghan, I remember her saying, I'm trying to reach my father. And then people actually intercepting her emails and her texts, right? I think she sent a letter. And they intercepted that letter. And when they intercepted that letter, they used that against her. And then the heart attack. And so if your dad is having a heart attack, clearly the wedding has to stop. The wedding is off, right? And so that's a thing that happened. So then after the heart attack, Meghan, tried to reach him. That didn't work. decided to go on with her wedding anyway, invited or asked Charles, Prince Charles, King Charles now, if he would walk her down the aisle. But then she, in a moment of like, I'm going to do what I want to do, in my mind, she walked herself down the first part of the aisle. He left me, my dad left me, I'm here, and I'm still going to stand strong, and I'm still going to walk down this aisle anyway. So that's what I got from that whole thing with Meghan and walking down the aisle by herself. So, do you want to say anything, Lily Bell, or anybody else that's out there? So I've been thinking a lot this week. I've been really trying to bone up on my skills with technology. And in the process, I've been thinking a lot about the things that are in popular culture right now. I've been thinking a lot about, the topic that's taken over the world. And for me, that topic is Kendrick Lamar and Drake. And how does that Kendrick Lamar and Drake conversation, how can we extrapolate that information and apply it to what's happening with Meghan right now? In my mind, there's a direct linkage between Meghan and Kendrick in the way that the UK media has told Meghan constantly that she doesn't belong in a space. You don't belong. Okay, Lily Bell, I see you said something. As a black woman, we saw the headlines, the dog whistles, the racism from the media and the royal family. Absolutely, we certainly did. And we were like, nah, not today. Not today, Satan. Not today. And so, like, this narrative that's happening, this reckoning that's happening, and I'm extrapolating that to the media saying, nope, just like Kendrick, Drake, you don't belong, you don't get to dictate to us what is culture. You don't get to tell us because you're not like us. The UK media, you are not like us. You don't love us. You don't care about us. You don't think about us. And your whole narrative is just designed around trying to get us to believe your version of who you say we are. And we're not doing that. We're going to do us despite that. You're not like us. Because if you were like us, if you were like Meghan, you wouldn't be putting these headlines out that seek to destroy her. You don't care about her. You don't care about her baby. You don't care about her husband. The only thing you want to do is put her in her place and let her know that she doesn't belong. And by doing that, you're sending another message. You're telling us that we also don't belong. But you know what? The problem is, for the UK media, you don't get to determine our response, right? And so our response to the UK media and what they've done has been to say, you know what? Thanks to Tina and Michelle putting together the squad, yeah, here we are. We don't care. You don't get to say how we're going to show up. You don't get to say what our response is going to be. You don't get to tell us, you don't get to come into this conversation and define Meghan for us. You don't get, because you're not like us. You're not like us. You're not like us. You're not like us. Clearly you're not, because if you were like us, you would be showing up, and you would be showing up in a way that would show Meghan as a human being. I mean, like the whole thing about the Windsor brand on the dress, right? Who does that? Who shows up and says, oh, Meghan is throwing shade at the royal family because she's worn a dress that the name of the dress is the Windsor? Like, when I go in the store and I purchase a dress or whatever I'm buying, I don't look at the tag to see what the name of the dress is. And I don't determine whether or not I'm going to wear that dress based on the name of that tag. Like, what does it have to do with it? Has absolutely nothing to do with the whole situation, right? And so you're trying to say that Meghan, you're trying to center the royal family constantly in this debate. And we're like, no, we're not doing that. Not today. Any other comments? You guys are pretty quiet today. This is unusual. But I am like on one today because I'm tired of the media trying to center themselves. I'm tired of the media trying to erase Meghan. I'm tired of the media trying to destroy Meghan. And we have to be able to clap back at them. We have to be able to marshar back at them, right? We have to be able to say, you don't get to tell us what to do. You don't get to tell us who we value. You don't get to tell us who we should love. You don't get to tell us anything. And in this conversation, you need to sit back and chill. When Meghan was in Nigeria and she was being embraced by the Nigerian people, their narrative was constantly seeking to center them. So Lilybell says, I live in the UK to this day. KC3, William, and Kate have never acknowledged Harry's kids. This is the reason why there's no pictures of KC and the kids. Yeah, exactly. And we don't care if you accept those kids, right? We don't care if you accept us. Your definition of us is not a thing. You don't get to define us. You don't get to plaster our pictures over and change the image and say this is who they are, and then we're just gonna like blindly follow you. The fact that you refuse to acknowledge the kids. Remember the whole thing even about Lilibet when she was like, how long did it take for them to put her name on that list to say that she was in the line of succession, right? She was clearly in the line. But no, you're trying to erase her. And you know what? We don't care. We don't care. We are centering ourselves. We are centering Meghan. We're centering those children. We're not going by your definition of what you're saying that you think we're supposed to do. We're defining ourselves for ourselves. And when Meghan showed up in Nigeria, the narrative was not about you. This thing had nothing to do with you. You tried it, you tried it, you tried it. And still she rose. And still the people of Nigeria paid you dust. And will continue to do that. Because in this moment, in this day, in this time, we're showing up in a different way. We're showing up and saying, you know what? We don't care. You don't get to erase us. You don't get to define us. You don't get to do anything in this situation but sit back over there on the dirt and watch Meghan, watch her smoke, watch her shine. And look at the tags. Go in and see if you can see that she used the word Windsor or whatever. Do what you need to do, because if you have to put her under a microscope to find a flaw that nobody else would see, you're the problem. Meghan's not the problem. The squad is not the problem. Why are you not focusing your articles on how sick the Princess of Wales is right now? Why are you not focused on William and his dig, right? His literal dig. Because you're not interested in that. You're more interested in taking a body of a black woman, of a biracial black woman, and putting her in the ground. And even then, if you were able to do that, allegedly, you still wouldn't be done with her. And so, you know what? We're paying you in dust. We are telling you today, in this moment, in this time, we don't care. You're not like us. You're not like us. You're not like us. Step off, sit over there and be quiet. So I see some more comments that have come in. Let's see. Oh yeah, guys, that's right. Happy Mother's Day. My kid's not here today. I forgot. I didn't get a call. Happy Mother's Day. Let's see. Don't believe the lies about wanting to see the kids' lies. Yeah, it's to make KC3 look good. Wait for the olive branch again. KC3 had no time to see Harry, but had time for David Beckham. Yeah, because they're all about celebrity. And you know what? The ironic thing is all the celebrities that, in my opinion, matter, they line up for Meghan. Meghan can get a standing appointment with Beyonce. Meghan can get a standing appointment with Oprah. Meghan can get a standing appointment with, put a dot in there and tell me that Meghan can't get a standing appointment with any of those people. Because Meghan matters. And I think, I read somewhere, I think, was it yesterday? I don't know, but it's been my theory. I know that William watched Meghan's show, Suits. And then when he found out that Harry was actually dating her, in love with her, he sort of flipped out, right? Like, no, because in his mind, that's the kind of person that he wants. Imagine if William had a woman like Harry by his side. I'm sorry, if William had a woman like if William had a woman like Meghan by his side, what would the monarchy be? Because when Meghan shows out, she does the work. She cares about the people. She's authentic. She's genuine. And they care about her. Right? And that's why we're here. We care about her. And in this moment, we care about us. And we are redefining this thing to tell you guys in the UK media, right? You are not like us. Step off, stand down, sit over there, and watch her work. We don't care what the tag on the name is, because it doesn't matter. The only thing you care about is ripping her apart. You're trying to dim a light, right? We see you, and that's why we push back. So Belle Francis said, Lily Bell, everything you've written is the absolute truth. I'm also in the UK. Yeah, like, what's up with them over there? What is up? Why do we over here in the US have to fight those battles? Right? Like, she left. You guys wanted her to leave. Not you guys, clearly. But the UK media and the people, just like Brexit. You called it Megxit, right? You used that sexist term. You called it Megxit. She left. She exited stage left. And you still are attacking her. I don't understand. What do you get from attacking this woman? And you know what? Honestly, guys, they don't want this smoke. I've been on one lake and restraining myself for at least a week. They don't want this smoke. Do you see, UK media, what we did to Drake? We can do it to the UK media. We can fight back against you. And what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? You see your numbers dwindling. You see your newspaper sales dwindling. Nobody likes you. Maybe some people like you. I think I'm overstating that. The people who like you, though, to me, it seems like they're toxic. And all they want to do is live in that toxicity, right? They found a target, and they're going to try and reduce that target until there's nothing left. But you know what? In this community, in my community, we celebrate the ancestors. There's nothing you can do to Meghan from birth until the ancestral plane that is going to make people in this country and marginalized people, for the most part in the UK and other places, listen to you. We saw what you did to Muhammad Ali. We saw what you did. You know, Muhammad Ali at one time was the most hated man in America, most hated man in the world. And so was Dr. Martin Luther King, the most hated man in America. And now what do, media? You stand there and act like you didn't do that. You did it. You did it. You did it. We saw you. We can go back to the archives. Even when you try and wipe them, we go back to the archives and we can still see what you did to to Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King, and to Malcolm X. We see the media articles that were written, and then how Medgar Evers got killed. We see it. We feel it. These are our people. They were standing up for us, right? And as soon as you saw someone stand up for us, they had to be taken down. We're not doing that anymore. We weren't doing that then. But the strategy now is different. And so what we're going to ask you to do, UK media, is to stand down. Stand down and leave Meghan alone. Because if we decide to rise up against the UK media, I don't know what's going to be left. What are you guys thinking? Let's see. It wasn't for Meghan to it was for Meghan to leave, but they never in a million years thought Harry would leave. Yeah, so Harry's not going to leave the love. He's going to leave the love of his life and stay in the UK to do what? Oh, Harry really misses the love of his life, Princess Catherine. He's really having a hard time with that. Like, Step off. Like, really? He loves his wife. Potentially, William, we know he watched Suits. And what does Harry get to have? Harry can't have that, right? My slides are like really weird today, guys. I prepared this whole thing. Maybe I'll be able to bring up some of them. I don't know, but I prepared this whole thing. There's this trend going around, this black wife trend about the glow up that men get from having a black wife. And I thought about Harry, so I prepared this whole thing. I think maybe I'll put it in like a podcast. But when you look at Harry's before images, right? Dealing with depression, dealing with, like not being able to buy shoes, going to, I think you guys call it TK Maxx, right over there? Going to TK Maxx, having literal holes in your shoes when you live in when you exist in a family that has billions and billions of dollars. This guy is walking around with, I'm sorry guys, I'm gonna turn this off. This guy is walking around with no, like, holes in his shoes. Enter Duchess Meghan. Harry has the glow up of all glow ups. Like, I've seen it. Every time you see him, it's like, dang, look at Harry. Harry is showing up and showing out, whether he's in a tuxedo, he can be wearing shorts, he can be playing polo. The look from the look on his face to his fit / his clothes, like his wardrobe, his fit, right? That's what we call it. To his fit, he's showing up and people are like, dang, Harry, like, yeah, we thought you were cute before, but dang, you are looking so good. So Meghan has given Harry this kind of glow up that, and it just keeps getting better and better and better and better, right? Let's see. William will have to find another spare because it won't be Harry. And for the people's prince, right, to marry Meghan, I do have a theory. Like, there is a love-hate relationship with Meghan. I think that there's this thing about excellence, and Meghan is not supposed to show up. She's supposed to show up and be a kind of stereotype, right? And when she shows up, and she shows up as a kind of equal to, name them, Beyonce, Serena, Rihanna, when you're on that same level, like Serena is maybe the best athlete of all time. She's at the top of her game in her sport, right? And we'll be there, right? Beyonce, top of the game in her work. Cowboy Carter, my goodness, reclaiming the ancestral roots of country music, right? And we could talk about that. And then, or Rihanna, like, she's showing up in her, in her generation, being at the top of the game. And so, like, if I'm showing up for David Beckham, will Beyonce show up for David Beckham? I doubt it, right? Will Rihanna really show up for David Beckham? Like, it wouldn't be a good thing. Meghan can get anybody to come and talk to her. She showed it in her podcast. She showed it in, like, in the work she does. She shows it in the people who show up for her, right? And so, yeah, and so this is like the energy I have today around this thing. Like, I'm just over the UK media, specifically coming across the pond, like having their media infuse the US's media in the narrative about Meghan. I know Rupert Murdoch purchased all these tabloids, and Rupert Murdoch, the mistake he made was not understanding the culture enough to know that you can't do that. You, Rupert Murdoch, have nothing to do with the people in the United States. You, Rupert Murdoch, have nothing to do with the way Black people, Black women, marginalized people, women, and other people who show up for her are going to show up for her. We don't care. I can code switch. We don't care. We don't care what you say. You have nothing to do with our version of her. And not only do you have nothing to do with our version of her, look at how your royals, in quotation marks, show up in these countries and how they are received. They are not received with love. They are not received with adoration. They are not received with admiration. They are seen as outsiders because they never cared to come in and sit with the people. Since Princess Diana, they have never cared to come and sit with the people and be with the people and engage with the people. They have always, like think about the last royal tour that William and Kate did. How they showed up standing above people, right? You guys don't know nothing. Like looking at kids through cages, holding like their hands through your pinky fingers and your index finger and your thumb, like very like I don't want to touch you kind of thing. You think we don't know when you find even our touch disgusting, allegedly, right? We see you. We see how you set that thing up with those kids. We see how you were in your Jeep, like thinking you're Queen Elizabeth II and it's 60 years ago. Like, that shouldn't have been a thing 60 years ago. That shouldn't have been a thing 60 years ago, and it shouldn't be a thing now. Can I get some comments from you guys? Like, what are you thinking? Do you think that Harry had the glow up? Do you think that, like, what do you think about the whole they not like us as far as the UK media and their definition or trying to define Meghan? What do you think about her trip to UK? Because I'm kind of like, and again, guys, happy Mother's Day. Oh, wait, I did see, okay, hold on. I didn't see this, Bella. Meghan turned a frog into a prince. Was he a frog? He certainly didn't look like he could be sexiest man alive. And I think in my mind, Harry could easily today in 2024 qualify for sexiest man alive. Not only because of his look, right? Not only because of his fit, but how he loves the woman that he loves. He shows up looking like, like an ice cream sandwich. Like, dang, Harry, you looking really good. Let's see what else we got. Hi from Maui. Hello. Let's see. What do we say? Mahalo. Yeah. Mahalo. God, the Son of Jesus Christ saves Harry and Meghan. Yes, absolutely. And so, like, how are we showing up for Meghan when we're showing up? Are we showing up in the way that we should? When we look at ourselves, are we, the metaphorical Drake, or are we the metaphorical Kendrick? Are we showing up? Clearly, we're showing up more like, in my mind, sorry to all you Drake fans out there. Not really sorry. But, like, they have, I did have, let me see if I can get these slides, any of these slides. I wanted to kind of do a kind of lesson, if you will, about, maybe I'll just talk about it, about, yes, Harry swag is on point. Susie Q. You are absolutely right. I said, I don't know if you were in here, but the Harry he shows up looking like an ice cream sandwich in a tuxedo. He could easily not just compete, but win sexiest man alive, because the sexy is in the fit. It's kind of in the face, in the facial hair, and the look, right? The way he's groomed. But the sexiest part of Harry is the way, in my mind, that he loves on that woman. When you see Harry and you ask him, I think media has asked Harry in the past, what's your favorite smell? What's your favorite scent? Meghan. I was like, what? Oh my gosh, can I be somebody's favorite scent? Like, and you can tell he wasn't faking it. Like, that is real love. That is worth defending. The love between Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, and her husband, right? Her husband, Harry, is something that when we see it, if we're not jaded, I know the UK media puts all this trash out trying to get us to side with them. No, we know what you do. We've seen what you've done, and I feel like I'm invoking the spirit of Marshar today, guys. We know what you're doing. We see you. We see you've done it before. This is your same old standard playbook, right? You're out here in these streets thinking that you can put cosplay, a cosplay character up there who wears Megan's clothes, who tries to assume Megan's posture, who tries to wear Megan's hair, but we see you. That you don't have the cultural competency to understand that that's not swag. There's more to swag than just the clothes. There's more to swag than just the hair. The love is in the swag, right? When you love somebody and you show up and you're a kind, good person and you do all these other things, we're like, dang, that's fire, right? That's fire. Like the love they have, the way they went to Nigeria, and then the whole narrative being, oh, the U.S. government put out a warning about Meghan and Harry traveling to Nigeria. Guys, I felt a little bit afraid after I saw that headline. Not because I thought any of the Nigerians would try and do anything to Meghan or Harry, but I'm sure you can extrapolate why I might feel a little bit worried about a potential, plot. Is there a plot afoot? Why are you putting this out there? Are you hoping that the narrative about Meghan might inspire? Are you looking for somebody to be inspired? Allegedly, to cause harm to Meghan and her family. Is that the thing? So if something happens, well, the US government did say, don't do this. The US media did say, and the government did say for them not to go. Like, I was just like, oh my goodness, please keep them safe. And then when I saw the Nigerian government and how they showed up, I was like, oh, I wouldn't try nothing. I don't know too many people, because if someone had tried something and been successful, that definitely would have led to a huge strike against Nigeria for the next 100 years, right? Don't go there, don't do this. And so when they showed up, they showed out, the people were there, the people were engaged, the people were loving on her. What do you say? What's your answer to that? You have none. You have none. Meghan and Harry came. Meghan and Harry showed up. Meghan and Harry showed out. Nigeria showed out. We showed up for her. They went and did all this work while they were there. And we don't care what you say, because you don't care about us, and you ain't like us. And you show every day how you ain't like us, because look at how you define this woman in the media. We see it. We see it in our lives. We see it when we show up in grocery stores. We see it when we show up in spaces where you don't think we're supposed to be. And we have to push back against that all the time anyway, a lot of us. So we got you. If what you need is some smoke, some of us are going to have time. And today, happy Mother's Day. I have time today, right? So let's see what some of the other comments are saying. Hello, squaddies. Some photos of Harry. He could easily be James Bond. Yes, they love each other, and some people are simply jealous. That's why she fell apart, because she was trying to be... wow. Because if you do everything you can and you tear somebody down and you still don't get the people on your side, maybe try some love. Maybe try some hope. Maybe try a little bit of kindness. Maybe organically show up and not tell people, well, we really, all we can really do is show up and give a handshake and a smile. Yeah, we can get that from, any person almost at any time if we show up and smile. What you here for? You showing up at a food pantry stirring like an empty pot, allegedly? You're showing up and you're not bringing, what would it have been like if William would have shown up at those places that he's gone, the places where homeless people eat, or pantries, and he showed up with a food truck? Do I need to do your PR? Why not show up with something unexpected and beautiful for the people who exist in these spaces? Why not show up and say, oh, this is why you're special. I see you, and I'm not only going to show up and stir a pot, I'm going to show up and I'm going to have 2 or 3 or 4 food trucks. Have what you like. Because I feel like I'm like you guys. I'm with you guys. I have the means. And so I'm going to show up for you. And this is how I'm going to show up. I'm showing up with food trucks. I'm showing up with, checks and or other resources. Everybody who is here today gets, let's say 500 pounds. How many people could have been at that pantry to that day? Or a 500-pound gift certificate for a grocery store. Right? They're already having hard times. But you show up and stir an empty pot. What does that say? You show up and stir an empty pot. Let's see. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Does anybody else have anything to say? Because you guys can see I'm kind of on one today. I'm over it. I'm so over it. And so what can we do? What should we be doing to push back against these people who want to see us defined in their terms, and their terms don't see any of us in a positive light? They want us to show up and be small. They want us to show up and be, take a handout. But they're not trying to offer us a hand up. They're trying to push us back down into a time and place where we had no voice. That for a lot of people, Black people, women, if you had no vote, you had no voice, you had no vote, and that it was dangerous to show up in spaces and to push back. And I'm saying, I know there are people here from the U.S., probably mainly, but for people in the U.S. and for people around the world who are in this podcast right now, this feels like ever since Cat Williams was on Shannon Sharp and called it this is 2024, the reckoning, I was like, okay, it was the first year for me that I didn't get the date wrong. For the beginning of the year, I usually write the previous year's date for at least a month. I didn't get that wrong. I'm like, this is 2024. We're having the reckoning. We're starting here with these people. Cat Williams said that these people were telling untruths, right? These people were showing up and stealing from people, cosplaying comedians. So you're taking Megan's fit, you're taking Megan's hair. Why don't you take some of that struggle that Megan has had? Why don't you take some of the actual work that she's done in community when she's done cookbooks and go do the work? If you want to be loved by people, you have to do things that will inspire people to love you. Are you showing up and you're centering them, or are you showing up and centering yourself? Oh, I think Jay-Z years ago talk about me showing up is me contributing or donating. He said it in another way, but it was, to me, had the same effect. When Megan shows up in this space, she shows up not to be seen. She shows up to do the work. Are you showing up to do the work? You want them to love you because you inherited a title? That ain't it. In 24, that ain't it. When you show up and you want the love and admiration of the people. Look to your mother. Who was Princess Diana? Happy Mother's Day, Princess Diana. Happy Mother's Day, Doria. Happy Mother's Day, Duchess Meghan, right? I should say Queen Doria, right? Everybody gets a title. Happy Mother's Day to all you queens in the podcast right now. Happy Mother's Day to all you kings in the podcast right now. And if you want to be loved, do you know how to work? Do you know how to show up and not just stir air? Because that's all you're doing when you're walking around. You're just stirring air. I went to the food pantry and I stirred some air. I saw the guy that, in my mind, at least from the photos that I saw, the other guy who's working at the pantry was just kind of rolling his eyes at this photo op. It is just about as easy to make it a real thing as a photo op. You have the resources. Show up with some food trucks. Show up with some gift cards. Show up with some concern. Show up and sit down and eat a meal with the people and have a conversation with them about the struggles that the challenges and struggles that they're dealing with, and then go to the UK's version of Congress and do something about it. Like the food pantry explosion in the UK right now. I understand that there was a challenge with energy, and now you're talking about people having to show up and getting free food, and that's like not just UK. I'm not trying to say that, but I'm saying if you have an opportunity to help, let's say 50 people who showed up at this pantry, how much PR would that have given you, like, to do that thing for these people? How much goodwill, I should say, and then followed by PR, would that have bought you? Had you shown up in a way that told the people of the UK that you gave a crap, right? But you showed up and you showed air and you stirred air. Like, really? Can we not do better than that? Can we not do better than that? And so today, on this Mother's Day, today in this 2024, thank you, Cat Williams. Thank you, God. Thank you, ancestors. I should have started with God. Thank you, God, the ancestors, Cat Williams, for showing us even more the importance of us showing up and saying, nah, not today. Because today the squad has time. And what does the squad have time for? The squad has time to do podcasts. The squad has time to participate in podcasts. The squad has time to be, warriors on the keyboard warriors. The squad has time to talk about Megan's, the good that Megan does. And even more than that, potentially, the squad has time to show up in love in the spaces that we exist in. Because when we talk about Duchess Megan, we're not like the trolls. When we talk about Duchess Megan, and probably other people in our lives, we're seeing Megan and people that we care about through the lens of kindness, compassion, joy, and admiration. We're not there to tear anybody down unless you come for us, right? If you come for us, then we'll make time. And if I can't make time, maybe Joanne can make time. If Joanne can't make time, maybe Bella can make some time. And if Bella ain't got time, maybe Susie Q got time. Like, one of us, you're going to try one of us, and we're going to take our jacket off, and we're going to give you a lesson. We're going to give you a lesson with words like Kendrick Lamar that you might not recover from. Because there's certain people in this world who could say certain things and your newspaper would be done. Your newspaper, your media empire, do you not see all of these things shutting down already? Right? Cultural capital has a lot to do with that. We're not listening to you. We're not getting our information from you anymore because we see you. We've seen what you've done to us. We've seen what you've done to our leaders. You don't get to define us. We don't care about what you show up looking like. We don't go to your blogs. We don't read your newspapers. We show up and we center ourselves. The only time we get news about what you're doing in your little newspapers is when other people bring that in because it's so explosive, and then we got to get on our keyboards. But we are strategic about it. We're not going there clicking. One person clicks, shares that article, and then we go to war on the keyboard, right? And we dismantle your lying narratives bit by bit. When the royal family, Bella said, when the royal family turns up at food banks empty-handed, it's not to help the people. It's for photo ops. Yes. So, like, we're not dumb, right? You think the people in those food banks have less intelligence than you. That ain't it. They were not born into the royal family. They were not born with all the resources that you have. And when you come from a community that embraces community, you understand, like how we can put the potato I have, the onion you have, the tomato he has, the green beans that they have, and, the broth or the bones that they have in one pot with some water, the clean water that somebody else has. And we come together in community and we break bread, we eat soup, and we chat and we talk about good things and we strategize and we figure this thing out. Because we come from people who love people. That whole village thing, like it takes a village. Yeah, it takes a village to do so much. And when you come from a village, that village has your back and you have theirs. And that's the thing that they did not anticipate about people organically coming together to form a squad. And Tina and Michelle putting it together, and then hundreds of people, thousands of people showing up to say, no, you don't get to define us. And you know what? I'm going to bring experts. I'm an attorney myself. And you know what? I have a tongue that can take down a nation, Michelle, right? When you put those things, that alchemy together, and then you put it on a beat, right? That's Kendrick. But when you put it together week after week after week after week, that's power. That is the power of the squad. That's what they did. They brought us together. And we're still here, right? We are still here existing in this space, doing that work. And it's not two people, and it's not just them. It is them multiplied, right? They created an entire community of warriors, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Nothing. You don't have the cultural currency to speak to marginalized people about Meghan. You don't have the cultural currency to influence the United States viewpoint on Meghan. You're not her people. You don't exist in the United. You're not American. So you don't understand what it would take to influence people's viewpoints here on Meghan. And what you don't anticipate is we've been doing this thing for hundreds of years. We've been fighting for hundreds of years. We see our sister out there. We see Meghan as a sister, a friend, a child of God, and you don't get to do that to her, right? Does anybody else have anything to say? Like, I see, Lady Rose, let's see, Bella said, okay, I read that one. Hello, family. How y'all doing? Happy Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all of you. I'm only going to be on for about 5 more minutes. So before we close, is there anything that anybody else would like to say to contribute to the conversation? I want to say, this one was different for me. I'm still Professor Zinzi, Professor Z. Like I said, Kendrick, what he did for, I'm West Coast, right? The culture of the West Coast, the culture of the United States, and how we extrapolate that to all of us. Who is us? If you're in the squad, you're us, right? If you're in the squad and you're in here and you're doing this work, you're us. And we know that people who are attacking us, they ain't like us. So let's see, Lady Rose, seriously, these people think we will change our minds about Meghan because they say so. Yeah. Like we said, right? We saw what you did to Muhammad Ali. We saw what you did to, like in this country, we saw them ship Marcus Garvey back to Jamaica. We saw them try to ship people from the United States. Some people went, a lot of people went willingly to Liberia. And when that exodus happened, No, no, no. You're trying to keep us from going. I thought you didn't want us here. It wasn't our country, right? We saw you take down Medgar. We saw you take down Malcolm. We saw you take down Dr. MLK. Like, no, we don't trust you because you ain't us. You ain't even like us. You ain't us and you ain't even like us, and you showed us that every day. Haters gonna hate. All we can do is love the haters and shake off the bad energy. Yeah, and we can love them, we can shake it off, and I think we can point it out and we can amplify it. Like, no, we see you. We see what you're doing. It doesn't work. We love us. We are centering us. We are centering Megan. And you don't get to do anything about it. But just so sit down over there in that chair and be quiet. While we turn up, while we have a good time, while we celebrate Megan's wonderful trip to Nigeria. Sit down. Sit down, sit down, sit down. Maybe if you take a lesson from people who are of a community, maybe if you take a lesson from people who have made up a village, from people who have made up a squad, you can figure out how to do you better, because we are moral people. And, you don't want to find out. You don't want to mess around and find out. And that's what the squad, in my mind, is about. Like, they tried it, they messed around and found out, they created a whole community of people, just like this is nothing new. Just like Frederick Douglass, right? If we want to go back that far. Harriet Tubman, Most Wanted, right? We've seen this before. We see how you try to kick the Windrush community out of the people who rebuilt Great Britain, UK. Is it so great now? I don't know, maybe. But we see what you do with the Windrush community over there. Like, we know. We've seen this before. Where you going to ship the people who you call illegals? How you going to be illegal and be a human being? We see that you're trying to ship them back or ship them to Africa. Like, what? You don't care what country, whichever one's going to be cheaper. Congo, yeah, we'll ship them there. Because we don't care. This is what we'll do to you people, right? When you show up. And you don't get to choose our response. And we've been responding as a squad even before we knew we were a squad, right? In small ways and big ways. For me, amplifying the Duchess's voice on Twitter before I got off that mess before I got off that platform when Elon Musk bought it. I'm like, nope, X's stage left. I'm out. But I was on Twitter like every day. Like, what is this? What is this hate? I had never experienced that. Well, actually, it is akin to, and this is something else, it is akin to the birtherism that we experienced in this country during Barack Obama's presidency. If you were in the United States and maybe in the world, you saw how they were like, Barack Obama, are you a citizen? Show us your birth certificate. You don't belong here. Your mama sneaked out the country, sneaked into Kenya, and sneaked back in, and had you in Kenya, came back in and brought you back. You ain't really from here. Duh. I almost used the D word. Yeah. If your parent is a citizen, you're a citizen. Doesn't matter. John McCain was born in the Panama Canal region. So, dust to you. And we know Barack Obama's mother, who was about 17 when she had him, with no passport, didn't sneak to Kenya. The only child of two loving parents are going to let their child sneak into another country. How? Why? Why to have this baby? For what? Like, think, and then we see this come back. Megan, you're not Nigerian. You're lying about your Nigerian ancestry. Meanwhile, we had the triangular slave trade. They took people who were of one ancestry. If it went from Angola to the UK to South Carolina, that ship traveled in the triangular trade for years and years. So people who live in South Carolina or wherever have the same ancestry. They came from, let's say, Ghana or Nigeria. So when your ancestors were dropped off in South Carolina, if they stayed there, you're likely going to be 90% either Ghanaian if you were the port was here, or you're from Cameroon, or that's what your ancestry is going to be. If you're a biracial person or a mixed black person, is the term I prefer to say. If you're a mixed black person, like your ancestry is going to be convoluted, but it is, lots of us have ancestry that is higher from one place because our parents and grandparents were born in those spaces and did not leave for generations. So it makes sense. It's plausible to me. Seriously, these people think we'll change our minds because they say so. Haters gonna hate. Yep, read that. Hello, everyone. The people are out of their minds. They're now gaslighting H&M. Yes, they are. But what they don't know is that they're also gaslighting themselves, because we don't care. We don't care, and they don't want us to Kendrick them, right? You don't want the boogeyman and the boogie women coming out, right? Because if the boogeymen and the boogie women come out of us and we come up with a strategy, then your newspapers and your media will no longer exist, allegedly. Because should it exist, if it only exists to amplify hate, if it only exists to degrade marginalized people, if it only exists to keep women in our places, if it only exists to do bad, should you? Connie! Hey, Connie! Oh, I had no idea that another channel was on at the same time. Yeah, Connie, we're about to head out. I was on one. I was like, I am invoking the spirit of Marshara today, and I've been on one just because I'm over the UK media, and I think a lot of us, and again, 2024, the year of the reckoning. Thank you again, God, ancestors, Cat Williams. Thank you, Kendrick Lamar. Because we're not doing this anymore. You ain't like us. You ain't like us. You ain't like us. Because if you were, you wouldn't be tearing down our siblings. You wouldn't be tearing Megan down. You wouldn't be tearing down our children. You wouldn't be tearing down our mothers. You wouldn't be tearing down our fathers. You would be existing in this space in a way that is respectful. You would be trying to lift up. You would be trying to point out the things that are positive. But you want to emphasize the differences. We come from community. When you attack one of us, one or more of us are going to have time. And that's just the fact of the matter. One of us is going to have time. And if we got time, then, we're going to pay you in dust. So, yeah. So this week's Happy Mother's Day episode was sponsored by or inspired by, again, I know you guys, if you've been on the pod, you've seen a couple of Kendrick Lamar things out there, and it has to do with how I'm feeling this kinship with Kendrick telling us that we should center ourselves and we need to get rid of / show, reveal who the UK media is in this example, and reveal who people are, these detractors are around us. So, guys, you guys are coming in and we're about to go out. Yeah, so if you want to support the channel, please watch some of the videos on the pod. I'm going to continue trying to work on improving. So, had a slideshow. I got pictures up. Slideshow didn't work. I know it's on me because I don't know the software well enough, but I'm going to work on it over the weekend. I'm going to try to do a pop-up maybe on Tuesday or Wednesday. I think I need to do more pop-ups just because I'm making less of the long-form videos. They take me not even long-form. They can take anywhere from 10 to 20 hours. I know they're short and they look like, 10, 15, 20 minutes is simple, but it takes me so long. And I want to talk to you guys more. So hopefully that's okay with you guys, that I am going to do maybe a silly one or a funny one about the thing that we talked about earlier. And let's see, Joyce Anderson. Oh wait, Connie said, God the Son, Jesus Christ saves. Yep. And then Lily Bell. good Sunday afternoon. Professor Lindsay and everyone in Nigeria tour was fantastic, and Megan's fashion was fire. Yes, and yes, and this pod was brought to you by the way I'm feeling around telling people or letting people know that you don't get to tell us who our heroes are. You don't get to tell us how to show up for Megan. Just sit there, be quiet. We love her. She loves us. And if you don't want the Drake effect, allegedly, right? If you don't want to experience what he experienced over the last 2 weeks, then you might want to sit this one out. You know, you might not want to talk about Megan's dress tag, or it might not even been, she might not even have received a tag that said Windsor. Like, if you really got to go that low to go at a microscopic level, then you might want to sit down and be quiet. You might want to sit this one out. Because in 2024, a lot of us have time. A lot of us will make time. And on this side of the world, the things that have been happening, from, like I said, Cat Williams to now Kendrick Lamar, and shutting down, really, Drake is another way of shutting down people who come into the community and try and cosplay, in my mind, and they also just take, right? I'm going to take from here, I'm going to take like settler colonialism, like you came here and you took, but what are you doing for the community? How are you showing up for the community? You're calling Rihanna out of her name, you're calling black women out of their names, and then you show up and call black people in your hip hop or in your rap slaves. Like rapping like you're trying to free the slaves. That's not a bad thing if you understood cultural currency, if you understood what it means to have currency in the squad, if you understood what it means to have currency as a member of the African diaspora, would you show up, UK media, and try to tear down Meghan? I say no. I don't believe that you would. And if you know, UK media, that if you get us on the right day, enough of us are going to have time. And not only are we going to have time, we're going to have energy. And we're going to be our keyboard warriors. And we are going to, we're going to continue to, do things. We're going to continue to expose you. So this podcast is a way of exposing the UK media and pushing back, saying, yeah, you know what, y'all ain't like us. Because if you were, you would show up in another way. Like I said earlier, if you were like us, you would have showed up, William, allegedly, at the food pantry and not been stirring an empty pot. Like, that is a whole metaphor for who you are. An empty freaking pot. You had the means, you had the resources to show up with food trucks, and you make a decision, William, to show up with nothing. You could have brought food trucks. You could have literally said, I value you guys. I'm bringing a coffee truck. I'm bringing like tacos, or I'm bringing, like something from maybe a Nigerian place or a Jamaican place, or I'm bringing something from, I don't know, KFC, whatever food, like, you guys have these, I think you guys have like a lot of international food in the UK, and William's mostly in London, so he could have contracted and helped some marginalized people who own trucks and shown up, and not shown up with a hairnet to stir an empty pot. Because if you're stirring an empty pot, chances are your heart is empty. If your pot is empty and you got bags and bags of gold, what else is empty over there, William? You got like billions of dollars. And all you can show up with, and you probably got the hairnet from them. Like, you're showing up taking. And dude was like, the guy he was standing next to was like, ugh. Meghan never shows up empty-handed, Duchess Meghan. Harry doesn't show up empty-handed. They show up for the people because they are of the people. And you not like us. You not like us. You not like us. You show up so people can smile at you, because we remember that you said all we can do is, we show up and we smile and we shake a hand, and you guys probably know the quote allegedly that he said. We got that. We got that, right? We understand that you're not showing up with all your billions that you've taken from these countries that you drew lines in and said, oh, I get to own this and I get UK. The sun never sets on the UK. Why? Because you've conquered all these countries. Because they didn't center weapons. They didn't center brutality. They didn't center, I can't remember the country. It may have been multiple. It probably had to be multiple countries, because you carved them up, right? And decided what country was going to be what country. But there were dance battles like we battle over here. You think that stuff left our DNA? No, we have rap battles because it's the way we speak to each other. We see you. And you show up with weapons in cultures that show up and have dance battles and conversations. And you steal people. You extract the wealth. You extract all of us from our homelands. And then we make a home here. And form a culture here. And you come, your son marries our daughter. We think it's going to be a good thing. No. She got that exotic blood. She don't belong over here with that exotic blood. What? And so, just like you tell immigrants in this country, go back to where you came from. She went home. And we embraced her, right? Megan went home, we embraced her, and now you are still trying to feed off her bones. You're going to mess around and find out. If my sleeping dragon can wake up this week with Kendrick, and over the last 2 weeks, really, okay. Because what you guys did also in this country is you came into the hip hop community and you monetized and lifted up, starting with gangster rap, and centered that when it was really about helping each other, right? It was really about old school revolutionaries and people like H. Rap Brown and others creating music to discuss what was happening here. And you can't, what are they doing? What are they doing? We got to know what they're doing. Oh, they're making money off of this? Oh, well, they can't center that stuff. We're going to center the worst. We're going to center we're going to call it gangster rap. Because look at them, right? Okay, you center gangster rap, right? And then, but you forget, at the heart, at the root, the root of hip hop is still the revolutionary spirit. You cannot extract our love for ourselves from this culture. You cannot extract our love for our people from Megan. She is tied to us. She came over here, her ancestors came over here because you sent them over here to extract our wealth and make us work for hundreds of years. And so now you don't get to define her, you don't get to center her. We get to do that. She is us. I am Meghan Markle. Can I get an I am Meghan Markle in the room, please? I am Meghan Markle. And you don't get to see us. You don't get to tell us who to believe in, who to love. We love our family. We love our kids. Even when we have diaspora wars with people from, around the world, it is still about loving and understanding, right? It is still about those things. We formed the squad because we had to. You made us. Now, please, UK media, don't make us go any further. You want to keep your little newspapers. You really don't want keyboard warriors allegedly out there doing to you what Kendrick did to Drake. Right? So let's see what we have here. Did I see some? Okay. Oh no. Okay. Professor Zinzi, all the hard work is greatly appreciated. How can wills go from stirring the empty pot over no fire yet right into the fire?
Will's actually said all they can give is a smile here and there. That's right. That's right. That's right. I know I'm saying allegedly. Because, like, if they come for me, everything's alleged. So if you hear me, like, repeatedly say allegedly, that's me trying to CMB, cover my butt. Yeah, he did. Connie Wills wanted the spotlight, so we'll make sure his wish is granted. Thank you, Professor Stinzy. Thank you. I am Meghan Markle. I am the ancestors. Yes, I am Meghan. I am Meghan Markle. What's up, Chad? I see Jerron. Oh no. Jerron Coco is back. He's actually, I'll just say this, he's a member of my family who's just in here. So if he gets too annoying, I will kick him out. I am Meghan Markle times 100. I am Meghan Markle. My, my queen, Joyce Anderson. Absolutely. Instead, William is swaying, right? Like, he showed up and he tried to, you know, I'm sorry, William, that the firm pushed you to get married early, allegedly, and maybe you didn't find that person that was the right fit. We have choices, though, in these things, don't we? We have choices about our partners. No one is forcing anyone, at least in this marriage, I don't think, to stay in a marriage if you don't want to be there, right? So, but when Harry shows up, Harry's not supposed to have the prize. Harry's supposed to be the spare. Harry's supposed to take the blows. Harry's supposed to have the hand-me-downs. Harry's supposed to, and he did. Again, he wore those raggedy shoes, those shoes with holes in them. And he got that glow up from his beautiful wife. Like, when she glowed him up like she glowed herself up. She gave him the same kind of glow up. And now, like we said earlier, Harry is walking around looking like GQ model, and even more than that, like the physicality of it, like the fresh haircut, the fresh fit / clothes, right? His outfits are on point. But more than that, his heart. He got the glow up around his mental health. He got the glow up around love. And all those things show up in those covers of magazines. All those things show up in, like we said earlier, he could be sexiest man alive. And the sex appeal is not, for me, just on the physicality, though that haircut is fire, the fit is fire. But the way he shows up and how warm and gentle and generous and that he shows up with his wife and loving, that's the fit, right? That's more important. That's the best kind of glow up. Let's see. I am Meghan Markle. I think absolutely Mary. Instead, William is swaying. Yep. I am Meghan Markle. Unbreakable. Her sway. I am Meghan Markle. Unconquerable. No one wants it. Tampa. Oh yeah, we know who he is. Refused to go and look for his newborn grandson. Yeah, and with Harry as a father and Meghan as a mother, those kids are going to be. They're going to be wonderful. They're going to be grounded. They're going to, when they show up, they're going to have a glow because they're going to be loved. They're going to be generous. They're going to be kind and helpful. And they're going to be beautiful. Like, they're going to be more than a triple threat, quadruple threat. Like, I don't know what times threat, but when they show up, and the fact that, like, they're not even going to care because they're going to center their children enough to know that the people who raised Harry after his mom died were not capable of loving him the way that he needed to be loved. They were not capable of centering that child. They did, even through all the trauma that he went through with, the alleged use of substances and depression. You still don't see him? You don't see that baby over there, like, suffering? Like, what? How can you not see that beautiful boy? Or you call him beautiful boy. Or whatever it is, whatever that phrase is that Charles calls Harry. And do you show up for this child? Are you helping him? Or are those just words, right? Are those just words? Because when we show up for our children, they show up for us. When we show up for our children and we love on them and we get them that right fit, okay, baby, what do you need? You got, all right, you got your hat, you got your outfit, you got your money and your lunch money, you got your lunch, you got some new Timbs or some new Jordans, even though I ain't a fan of either one really, but I want you to show up looking like you are loved. You are clean, you are pressed, you got a fire haircut, your hair got cornrows, like whatever that thing is. And Prince Harry is showing up with holes in his shoes. Like, I shop at TJ Maxx, no big deal. But he didn't even have a budget really to buy the things that he needed, except if he was going to something for the firm. He can't do polo, or he can't go hang out with his boys in a tuxedo if he's just going to the pub, right? But you didn't even make sure he had the right clothes, the right shoes, that when you see him showing up in spaces and his clothes are wrinkly and not pressed, y'all don't care about him. That's what the definition of, a spare apparently is for you guys. We only need you if something catastrophic happens to this guy. And then what? They're only there, that family, because someone stepped down and said, no thanks, I don't want this. I'm not going to get married. I'm not going to marry a woman who's of childbearing age and have children. I'm stepping down. You can have it. I'm going to marry this woman, prior to this family that's currently in that space. So, let's see. I am Megan. Okay. Unbreakable. Air sway sway. I am Meghan Markle. Unconquerable. No one wanted William. The king refused to go and look for his newborn. Yeah. You are the queen. Air sway sway, and wife refused to go next door and look for Archie when he was born. That's so awful. Thanks, Professor, for such a great extraordinary. Really? You guys like this one? The truth? With you guys, I feel with the squad, I can be myself. I can have layers, right? And I can have experiences, and I can talk about the intersection, because you guys are so smart. We're all smart. We get it. We can talk about the intersection of Megan and this thing that's happening with Kendrick, because it's relevant. The reckoning is relevant. We're all watching it. We all have seen it. And we're saying no more. We are saying no more. I was just wondering about how you guys were going to take this one. I know I'm usually a little bit goofy and a little bit I'm generally anxious. I was anxious before I came on. I'm okay, am I going to be okay? Am I going to do okay on this podcast today? Because I really do try and work. And even though my slides didn't work today, some of them were working last night. I'm going to continue to work on this and improve for the squad, right? For Megan and for the squad, because we deserve it. And they don't want the smoke from me. I am typically trying to be in a space of Zen, Professor Zenzi. But that name also, I've said, I don't know how many of you have heard, but Zenzi also means you did it. Good or bad, it is on you. It is up to you. And today I'm feeling I got time. I think it was the tag, the Windsor tag, that just it got to me. And then the whole I've been feeling euphoric from this whole Kendrick thing and putting down the wicked warlock of the West. Dude, you come into our culture and you don't do anything for anybody, from Toronto to Atlanta to LA to Oakland, and you even got the nerve to say that the people in LA love you more than they love Kendrick, and we just extrapolated that to Megan. No, you UK media. We love her. She's ours. We will just because we let you sit down at the table, don't mean that you belong in this space. Like, yeah, we have guests. You are a guest in this space. And if you get out of pocket, then you're going to get some of this smoke. So sit down. Leave her alone. Leave us alone. And if you don't, we're not going to only invite you out of this space. We're going to show you, we're going to drizzy you. We're going to give you the drizzy treatment. And you're not going to be better off when it's all said and done. And so for this Mother's Day, oh gosh, so Joy says, I'm doing a great job. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Been listening, not just commenting. Well, yeah, come on in. Like, I was planning to be exiting out of here a while ago. So, yeah. I don't want to call up the trolls today, but I think they might understand that they don't want this smoke. I don't know. We'll see. But they definitely probably don't want the smoke with us because, like, on days that the squad has time, you see them talking about Barron in the news. You see them looking for the leader of the squad. Hey, dirty little secret, not even dirty. The secret is we're all the leaders of the squad. All of us in this space, and the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of other people, probably closer to millions of people, even if they are sitting back in the chat and in spaces, don't make them have time. Don't give them a reason to have time. Because if we have time, you're not going to like it. You really are not going to like the lessons that we put out. And today, honoring my mother who's passed away and my grandmother and the ancestors, like, I got time to do this work today. I got a lot of time. And so, like, if you light the right fire, you're going to get what you get. And trust me, like, this, guys, is just like, I'm telling you, I told you I work in mental health, and I'm good. It doesn't mean that because I'm good mentally and grounded, it doesn't mean I still don't know how to give you that smoke. I choose not to. I choose to, but if I have to, if you make me, like, yeah, just don't. Just don't, right? What do we have? Okay, so you guys are talking to each other. The trolls, derangers, and bots too busy crying, running amok all over social media because they were, yeah, they couldn't do anything. They couldn't do anything to her, right? Just like they can't touch us. And what the soft power that we hold, again, this whole thing is still, it's inspired by Kendrick. So just, I'm just putting y'all up on some game, right? Which means that if I got this smoke, me, who does the work of being gentle and kind, it doesn't mean that people who are mentally well we don't necessarily need to bring it every once in a while. Because when you bring trauma, what are we gonna do? Well, that's fine. No, not into my own personal life, not into my own personal space. You don't get to traumatize Megan. She is one of us. You have established from the beginning. And you know what, guys? That whole, straight out of Compton. I almost said a swear word. You dang right she is. Even if that's not her neighborhood, California is her town. Beyonce clapped back when she did that video about Compton wearing Serena clothes for that movie, Serena and Venus's movie, right? Yeah. You don't understand our loyalty to each other. Compton, even if I live in the Bay, is my hood. DJ Mustard from the Bay made the beat to unite all of California, to unite all of the United States. You don't want this smoke. You don't want this smoke. Connie said YouTube would have banned her. Mary says too old for the rap scene, but it's good for. I don't know if you are, cause Mary, like it's the rap scene is just a conversation. That's all it is. It's just us talking to each other, in our own, like code switching. So if you're African American, and I'm sure if you're from other places, but for African Americans, when we show up in school, when we show up at work, we are expected to conform linguistically to the patterns of American standard American English. So when you're a child and you show up in kindergarten, they start from the beginning telling you, don't talk like that, right? But we don't lose it. And lots of people now are refusing to code switch. They're refusing to show up speaking standard American English. We all understand that that comes from West Africa. The Gullah people of South Carolina and the Sea Islands maintain the same syntax as they had when we got here to this country. So when you tell us to not use our speech and you call it ignorant, we know you're talking about the ancestors and everything, but you can't keep our tongue out of your mouth. You can't show up in your advertisements. You can't show up with your friends. You can't show up with your family and talk about having a good time without trying to appropriate the linguistic pattern, syntax of African Americans. So sit down. So anyway, saying that, like it comes from people like I said, Gil Scott-Heron, H. Rap Brown. If you guys are not familiar with them, look up Gil Scott-Heron. The revolution will not be televised. Look up H. Rap Brown. Like look up the last poets. These are all like I said, the foundation of rap is really about telling us that we belong, that we are loved. It was us communicating with each other, right? And this thing got co-opted by record companies. And then they said, oh no, we can't have that kind of positive thing. Let's promote gangster rap. Right? Let us say that these people are savages. And these are the rappers we're going to promote. We're going to like shut these other people down. And that's going to be the end of that. Right? So, Connie, Connie, you're going to have to come on one day and have a conversation with me. Oh, gosh. Lady Rose says, well, Connie said I was banned from YouTube. Oh, no. Like, can you imagine the silencing of your voice, Connie? You are powerful. Mary, I need to put you up on some game. Like, if I'm giving you a homework assignment, Mary, it's going to be like, go deep on Euphoria, forgive the lyrics. Go deep on, oh my goodness. Jerron Coco, is it you? Meet the Grams. That's the one. Meet the Grams. Mary, man, go deep on Meet the Grams. It's all like explained with every single alliteration and entendre. Like there's quadruple, quintuple, and more entendres in this. But it is also a lesson for people who come for us, right? Let's see. Connie, we're concerned, Connie. My queen, Connie Balmer. I'm trying my best not to get banned. It's hard to contain myself with everything coming from these racists. I'm trying to be nice. We're going to support you in that, Lady Rose. We have to support you in that because we need your voice. We need Connie's voice. We need all of our voices. And that's what they do. Like, they try and silence us. And so that's why you hear me saying allegedly. If they come for me, which they may, right? They may come for me. Everything is alleged. I'm not claiming anything that I say in the space is true. It is all opinion-based. It is all for fun, right? These are the disclaimers. You need a disclaimer? I got you. And when you show up, right? When you show up in these space, when the squad shows up in this space, guys, like, I love the squad. God knows I do. That's a line from Gloria. Like, I love the 54th. God knows I do. I think it might have been the 55th. Anyway, which was a Buffalo Soldiers troop who were in this battle for something. So the ancestors are constantly speaking to me. And it is my job, because I have their DNA in me. Like, their DNA is me, literally, right? And I have to carry these things forth. I have to carry these things forth. And today, I felt like I had to speak a different kind of language. I have to speak to a different part. Like, normally I'm just like so giggly and giddy. And I am giddy in this moment, even though I'm a little bit on one, right? I am still, but I'm feeling the power of all of you. I'm feeling the power of the squad. I'm feeling the power of the ancestors. I'm feeling the power of Kendrick. Like, give us free. Leave us alone. Give us free. Leave us alone. Leave Megan alone. We are tired of always having to battle. Like, it is exhausting. And we need to be able to be in spaces that are soft and joyful. Right? The squad, though, we have to be all of these things for each other and for ourselves. We have to be joyful, because it is a revolutionary act to be joyful. When we are joyful and we are intelligent, and we are all that, right? We're brilliant, we're joyful, we're loved, we're of community. We can all sit down and give you a lesson. And Mary, I hope you do. Mary, I hope I remember the next time I see you, I'm going to ask you about it. Because it is important. Because the ancestors are connected to all of this, and it's in an unbroken chain. And even though the media, again, tries to have their narrative about, our kids, our people, they don't get to do that. Like, we get to choose. And just an aside, and I could have played it today. Like, they're not like us. It's got a lot of swearing in it that would probably hurt some of your ears. But Kendrick Lamar, for YouTubers, I'm not a paid channel, but for paid channels and YouTubers specifically, he removed the copyright off of all of the album, all of the songs that were in the this discussion with Drake, so that the people on YouTube can get paid. He is not taking a penny. He's letting YouTubers. So if you got 10,000, 100,000 views, all of that money goes in your pocket. Like, he is a man of the people. And you cannot disconnect people of the culture from the culture. Whether it is, let's say that it's an alien invasion. You can't disconnect the world the aliens can't do that, right? If we have a big invasion. If you're talking about, people in the UK and you have a larger, diasporan community, they can't disconnect that. They cannot disconnect you from that. Or it is challenging. And then if you say it's a community like the people from Jamaica or the people from Nigeria or the people from other places, you cannot disconnect them from their culture. You don't have the cultural currency. You don't, UK media, have the cultural currency to disconnect us, the squad. You can't dislodge us from Megan. You cannot dislodge us from each other. We are each other. We feed each other. We love each other. We show up for each other. Because we have to. Because we want to, and because we have to. And ain't nothing you can do about it. Talk about Megan's dress tag if you want to. We're going to be over here sea walking, right? We're going to be over here we're going to be over here dancing. We're going to be over here vibing with each other. We're going to be over here having intelligent conversations with each other that help each other level up. We see you trying to tear us down. That ain't nothing new. Everything about us was trash, right? From our hair. Oh, now we want to make dreadlocks or locks pop or cornrows pop. Oh, that was like trashy ghetto culture. Like, oh, well, why are you trying to wear it? Haircuts from the top of the head to, athleisure wear. Like, why are you trying to wear it to the music? Like, all of it. You trashed everything about us. Our language. Why you don't think you cool if you ain't talking like a, like culturally like a black American, like, or from like say Los Angeles or from the South? Like, you don't think you're cool unless you're appropriating that thing that you said had no currency. But clearly it does. We all have currency, and we've all joined this squad because we believe in, we love the squad, we love Megan, and we come to it from wherever we come from. If you're from Libya, if you're from Romania, if you're from France, I see you over there in the, those what we call projects over here in France, hanging out, and people like doing the same things to you. We see you being marginalized women over there, right? Married man, a relative came, from a relative and, married man, a relative came for a visit and downloaded pictures from indigenous people, and they been, oh. Connie, sorry to hear that. I'm glad you're back. Sorry, guys, if I missed a bunch of comments. I was on one. It's hard for me to use the disclaimers. I want to tell them what I really think about them. When you say disclaimer, just think I am Meghan Markle. Because, like, that disclaimer, that's your apartheid card, right? That's your get out of jail free card. Like, that's your I can't imprison you card. You gotta have your card. Because if you forget to use it, that's your, that's your vibranium. That's your vibranium. Wakanda forever. I'm making the cross. Wakanda forever, right? That's your vibranium. You need that card. And if you can, don't ever let them take your power away from you. And Connie, like, if we need to write letters, like, can we do anything as the squad? We love you in the squad. You are essential in the squad. That's terrible. Like, someone got on your page, that's not you. Lady Rose says it's hard for me to use the disclaimers. Oh, okay, yeah. No, you have to though. Yeah, so me too, Mary. I use my hubbies. Well, that's good. But if there's anything we can do, Connie, we got you. Lady Rose, ask Baron or VS Speaks Royally. They'll show you. That's a mess. We'll be over here rejoicing and reveling in the success of the amazing Sussexes. You got that right. Polo Meg is out. Novi, is this a troll? Oh, no, Novi's not a troll. Sorry, Novi. sorry. I'll ask them. Let's see the charity polo match in Megan's new dress. Connie Bellman. Yep. And how? Now I get it. Thank you, guys. So if you enjoyed this podcast, can you let me know? Put a 1 in the chat if you thought it was okay. Put a 2 in the chat if you think that maybe I need to, if I can improve some way, and you can let me know at the Sussex Studio Experience at gmail.com what part you were feeling, maybe what part you weren't feeling. But today, guys, I have to be unapologetic because I'm telling you, Kendrick had, when he said, "It's all eyes on me and I'm going to send it up to Pac," that's like, I'm sending it up to God. I'm sending it up, I'm getting the energy from God and the ancestors. And like, the community has all their eyes on me, which is also a Tupac album, All Eyes on Me. It's all eyes on me and I'm going to send it up to Pac. I'm like, I literally shed a tear. Like, he is speaking not just to me, but it is also inspired by God. Right? So, charity polo match and Megan, yep. Now I get it. So, Claire says 1. Mary says 1. Okay, good. Mary, I'm serious about that homework. I'm really, really serious. Just, and you could probably find the uncensored versions of it. They might not be as much fun, but if your ears hurt when you hear swear, but the language is there for a reason. But if you do, go in, start with Meet the Grams, although that's the easiest one probably to understand because it's a letter written from him, and then you'll see okay, now I get it. But the last song that he wrote, Not Like Us, is like a California anthem, and it's using a beat, like I said earlier, by a guy named DJ Mustard. And DJ Mustard makes really specifically California music, and so people can do specific dances, you know. But wait until this fall when the HBCU bands get the same music. It's gonna be like all these HBCU bands battling to these songs because they do something to the soul, like that drum that comes from Africa. It's, you know, like that's why our music feels so good to us, because it's like a heartbeat, right? Thank you. Novi, thank you. And you too. So yeah, guys, we've been here almost 2 hours. So I want you to have the most wonderful Mother's Day that you've ever had. And I want you to center yourselves today. Like, make sure you're doing something for yourself. Whether you're a mother or not, do something for yourself that centers yourself. And do something that makes you feel more like yourself in the best time of your life you've ever had, right? So, yeah, whether it's putting on some music that makes you want to just like vibe out, whether it's like going and having some kind of food or cooking something that you want to eat, watching your favorite TV show from childhood, listening to an affirmations or reading a book. Take a little time and do something for yourself that makes you feel centered and makes you feel full, because we need it out here in these Meghan Markle streets, right? We need the vibe, because we have to do the work, right? And this is all about this podcast. It's a Meghan Markle podcast, and it's specifically for, in my mind, it's for you. It's for the squad, right? So it's for Meghan, and it's also for the squad, because you guys have given me so much. Even as I sat back in all the rooms and never said anything and just listened, like I want to say something, I understand that anxiety because I've got it. And I thought about like what I would want from a podcast. And so I'm trying to create, like I've said before, Toni Morrison said, if there's a book you want to write and it hasn't been written, you write it. If there's a podcast that you want and it hasn't been done before, you write it. And so, because I want you guys to feel as full, inspired, educated as I want to feel, and how I feel when I am next to you guys. And so, as we say goodbye, and as you celebrate Mother's Day, I just want to wish you guys well, okay? And take care, all right? Bye, everybody. Ciao.